The weather is finally turning warmer, so get ready for spring and summer with me today by making these cute and easy Dollar Tree spring and summer DIYs. If you're new here and you like home decor and DIYs on a budget, stick around by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. All right, let's get into all these DIYs. This spring DIY is perfect for labeling your plants in the garden. I picked up these wooden signs with stakes in them from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take a pencil and write out what seeds or what plants I'm going to be planting. In this case, tomatoes. So I'm just going to take a wood burning tool and I'm going to go over what I wrote with the pencil. And the great thing about this wood burning tool is that it is not going to wash off or smear or anything like that. So when I put this outside and it gets wet from the rain and watering, it's going to stay in this shape, and I'm going to always know what I planted, where I planted it because of this sign. So I got this wood burning tool from Amazon a long time ago. I'll leave it linked down below in the description box. It's really easy to use, but you do need to be careful because it does get really hot. Once I was finished with burning the letters into the wood, I just used my eraser and erased where the pencil marks were. And I did like 4 of them in about 15 minutes. I think they are really pretty, really rustic, and really cute to put out in my garden for springtime this year, and I'll be able to remember what I planted. All right, so this next one is not really a DIY, but it is much needed for some seed organization. I always buy seeds from Dollar Tree. Me and my husband start seeds indoors for our garden, and Dollar Tree has a great deal. You get 4 packs for $1. So I am always having seeds around. So I picked up some of these photo albums from Dollar Tree, and they are really cute. They have some cute designs, some spring and colorful designs on them, and they are perfect to store your seeds in. You just slip them into the photo album, and it just holds your seeds. It keeps them organized, keeps them all in one place. And then that way you know where they are all the time. And even if you open up the package, you can still put them in a Ziploc baggie and put them down in there. It's just a great way to keep them around. And then I went a step further and I have a label maker, which I got off of Amazon, but there is a label maker Dollar Tree sells, so I don't know. I haven't seen it and I haven't used it, but if you have it, you could use that. And you can label the sides of them. You could label the pages of them if you lose the packaging. So this just keeps everything organized all in one space. And then that way you don't have seed packets laying all over your house like I did before this little hack. So I love it and it looks cute too. I'm using 3 of these wooden houses that have chalkboards painted on them for this DIY. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the 3 houses together side by side, and the hot glue holds it really well, but I am going to use some staples to hold it down later on. And then I found some of this Crafter's Square burlap from Dollar Tree, so I picked up a roll and I just cut off a strip, and then I am going to wrap it around the bottom half of the houses, and I just placed it on the top and then flipped it over, and then I'm going to pull it tight and I'm going to staple the burlap to the houses, and you can see there where I stapled in between the houses to keep them together. And then for the corners, I'm just basically wrapping it like a present, just tucking one side over and then tucking the other side over that, and then stapling it all together just to pull it tight, kind of like you are upholstering a piece of furniture, which I've never actually done, but from what I've seen, that's what it looks like. And then once I get that all together, I'm going to go ahead and create pockets for each one of them just by stapling on the front in between the houses. You can do this or you cannot do this. It's up to you because the staples do show a little bit. And then I took this spring sign from Dollar Tree that's metal and I spray painted it with some black spray paint and hot glued it to the front. And now I'm just taking some of these spring floral picks and cutting them down and just placing them inside the pockets of each of the houses. I think this turned out really pretty and cute to display for some spring decor around the house. I love how this piece turned out, and I definitely think you can personalize it, use it any different types of florals you would like. It's beautiful for spring. For this next DIY, I'm going to be making an address sign with this cute little shiplap framed sign from Dollar Tree. And then I took one of these yard stakes with the bicycle on it. They have different colored bicycles. They also have tractors and like little bugs or whatever for the spring. All you have to do is take some wire cutters to cut off the stake on it. And then if there's some left over, like there was on mine, just use some little needle nose pliers to bend it to pull it right off. And then I'm going to hot glue it to one side of my sign. I would definitely suggest using E6000 or some super glue because the hot glue will not hold up in hot weather if the sun's beating down on it or even in really cold temperatures. So using the other glue will keep it staying for longer. And then I took some of these galvanized numbers from Dollar Tree, and you can leave them galvanized. I just decided to paint mine black because they stood out a little bit more. And then I used a little bit of hot glue to secure them down. Again, using E6000 or super glue would be the better bet. And then that was it. This turned out to be a really cute sign. You can sit it on your porch or you can hang it. It does have a little piece of twine where you can hang it from. I love how it turned out. It's really pretty for spring. For this last DIY, I'm going to use 2 packs of the smaller terracotta pots from Dollar Tree, and then one of these plant hangers from Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to attempt to make a rain chain out of these. So when I picked up the terracotta pots, I thought they had bigger holes in the bottom, but they don't. So I just took a 5/16 drill bit and I just drilled through the bottom of each one of the pots. And I was really nervous because I thought they would break, but they did not. So that was good. But I would suggest wearing eye protection when you are doing this project just to make sure none of the pieces come flying off. And then I'm gonna take one of the pieces of chain and I'm just gonna take that bottom piece off, and then I'm able to pull that chain through that hole all the way to the top of the chain. I put the first planter and then I did all 6 planters. I just added a second chain to the very end of the first chain to complete the chain so that way it would hold all 6 of the planters. And if the chain did get a little bit stuck, I used some needle nose pliers to pull it on through. But really, if you just wiggle that chain around, they pull through nicely. And then when I picked it up, all of the pots just fell into themselves and they didn't hold up. So to make little stoppers for these so that way they don't fall, I just took the last piece of chain and I'm taking 2 links off. And then I am just using my pliers to open the links up. And then I am putting them on the bottom of where I want that pot to stop at. So I'm putting it on one chain. On each side of that chain, I'm putting 2 more links. And then that way, when you pull it through, it's going to stop that pot from moving and falling down. So I did that on the very bottom pot, and then I worked my way up all the way to the top pot. And I did that for each one so that way that when you pulled it through, it wouldn't fall down on itself. Then with the hook at the top, all I did was take off some of the links and then just re-add that hook back on wherever I wanted it to stop at. And I did 5 links between each pot. Then as you can see, I went ahead and painted this all black. I just thought it would look nice because I'm going to be adding these little ladybugs on to the pots. There's 12 in a pack, so I added 2 on each pack. I just used hot glue to stick them on. However, do as I say, not as I do, and use E6000 or super glue so that way it'll hold up. But I think this turned out really cute, and I think it is perfect for spring to catch that rain. And I didn't get any video sound for this, but it sounds really pretty. A cute way to make a hanging bird bath. I just took one of these hanging baskets from Dollar Tree, and I took off the hanging part just because I wanted to add one of the metal hanging pieces. I took this off of one of the metal hanging baskets that I had from Dollar Tree, and I just simply attached it to the pieces that were already there. And then I'm going to take one of these clear plastic bowls from Dollar Tree. They're pretty shallow, and I just took the stickers off and placed it right in the top there, and it fits perfectly. Then I'm going to add some stones to the bottom of this, and then I also added a bigger rock so that way the birds could stand on there, or even like little bees could stand on there to take a drink. And then I added just some water, and that was it. I hung it on a shepherd's hook outside. You can hang this from a tree or wherever you get a lot of birds or bees. And it's just a cute and simple and affordable way to make a little bird bath for the summertime. For my next DIY, I'm going to make some mushroom for my garden. So I picked up some of these cocoa liners for my mushroom caps, and I am just going to use some white acrylic paint from Dollar Tree, and then I got these sponge dabbers from Dollar Tree. They come in 3 different sizes in one pack, so I just used all 3 different sizes, and I just dabbed them onto the cocoa liner. Sometimes I put my hand underneath and pressed so that way the color would show up on the cocoa liner. And you want to make sure that you seal these before you put them outside with some sort of clear coat protectant so that way the paint doesn't wash off. And then for the stems of my mushrooms, I picked up some of these red vases. They have different colors, but I picked up the red, and I just hot glued the bottoms together, and then I put some hot glue at the top to put my mushroom cap on. And I made a bigger one like this, and then I went ahead and made a smaller one with the same materials. I just used another cocoa liner, but this time for the cocoa liner, I did cut it down around the bottom. I just followed the circle, and I cut probably about 1 to 2 inches off around the bottom. So that way it would be a little bit smaller because I was only going to use one vase to put the cocoa liner on top of. And if I left it the same size, it was going to be too big. So then after I got done cutting it, I just scrunched up the cocoa liner so that way it gave it more of a natural look. And then again, I went in with my sponge pouncers or dabbers or whatever you want to call them, and I dabbed some round circles on to this one as well, and I did all 3 of the round circles. And then once that was complete, I took my vase and I flipped it upside down, and I glued the mushroom cap on top of that vase. And I think these turned out super adorable. Like I said, I put them in my garden, and I think it would be fun if you use the different color vases. You could even paint the mushroom caps, spray paint them, and give them some fun colors to put in your garden. But it was a super cute way and affordable way to decorate on a budget. For this DIY, I wanted to make a cute mossy wreath with some flower pots on it. So I'm going to take this wire wreath form from Dollar Tree, and I flipped it over so it wasn't, so like the inside of the wreath was now the front of the wreath. So that way I could fill that part up with moss. And I just hot glued the moss right on to the wire wreath forms, and then where it was a little patchy, I would just go back over the moss that I put down and add some more moss. And I just did this all the way around the wreath form, making sure to cover up all of the wire. Next, I'm going to take some of this wired twine from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that to help me hold the clay pots in place. So I just put my clay pot onto the wreath, and then I wrapped the wired twine around the pot and through the wire wreath form, and then twist tied it in the back, and then just put a little dab of hot glue on the wired twine and the clay pot just to hold it kind of in place. And then I went ahead, after I did the first one, I realized I need to go ahead and glue the pots down first where I want them, and then put the wired twine in. So that is what I did. I glued them down with a little hot glue, and then I wrapped the twine around each one of them, and then I put the dab of hot glue onto the top of the twine just to hold it onto the clay pot. And then I filled in some of the gaps with a little more moss when I was just finishing up there. And then I took some fake succulents from Dollar Tree. You can get real succulents. I don't really have that great of a green thumb, so I decided to go with the fake ones. So I just placed them, I cut the stems down and placed them inside the pots and hot glued them down in place if I needed to. And then once that was done, I went ahead and added some moss on the clay pots as well. I just went around and hot glued some here and there where I thought it just matched the wreath a little bit and it helps the pots blend into the wreath a little bit more. And that was all for this wreath. I did add some fairy lights from Dollar Tree that were battery operated. I think this turned out really cute. You could add some fairy garden little figurines from Dollar Tree as well, but I think this is cute to put outside for summer and gives that garden feel. For this DIY, I'm going to make a garden arch with this hula hoop. If you take it apart, you can pour out the little beads on the inside so it won't make the noise. And then I'm going to take 2 of these broomstick handles from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to remove the tops off of them, and they're hollow on the insides. So you can insert each side of the hula hoop that you took apart into those tops. And then I spray painted everything black, and then I took it apart because it just stays together with you inserting them into the tops of those broomstick handles. So I just pounded those broomstick handles into the ground. Then I put my arch on with the hula hoop. And then I took these indoor-outdoor fairy lights from Dollar Tree. They're in the plus section. As you can see, they were $5. So I just took those since they were outdoor, and I wrapped them all around the arch. And then I took some fake ivy from Dollar Tree until I can get some real plants to vine up, and I wrapped that. And I think this turned out really pretty, perfect to put in a garden. And it stands about 5 feet tall, maybe just a little bit over 5 feet. So it's really cute to add for the summertime. For this last DIY, I'm going to make a cute little solar garden stake flower to put in the garden. And I'm going to use a hanging basket from Dollar Tree that I just flipped upside down, and I took the hanger off because I used that hanger for the first DIY in this video. And then I'm going to take one of these garden hooks from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put the hook through the center of the basket. And then I'm going to just take a couple zip ties and zip tie the top and the bottom of that hook to the basket. And then my flower definitely needs some leaves. So I used this cocoa liner, and I just cut a couple leaf shapes out of the cocoa liner. To attach the cocoa liners to the garden hook, I am just going to use zip ties again. I just went right through the cocoa liner and then around the garden hook and then up through the other cocoa liner and then pulled them tight. I used about 3 or 4 zip ties for the leaves just to make sure that they were tight, and they're still pliable, so you can kind of move them around and position them the way that they you want them to, but they do stay in place after you zip tie them, if that makes sense. So you can still kind of move them, but they still stay in place. And then I did trim off a little bit more of the cocoa liner to give me a good shape for the leaves. And then I am gonna go ahead and paint this with some of this summer squash spray paint from the neck of the basket to the top of the basket, and then from the neck of the stem down, I'm going to paint that with the moss green spray paint like you see here. And the leaves also, I spray painted those as well. And then for the solar power, I just took a solar powered light. This one is not from Dollar Tree, but ones from Dollar Tree will work as well. And I just took it off of the stake and placed it in the center of my flower. And I think this is so adorable, and I love how it looks all around my flowers and just gives off a really nice, pretty ambiance for the summertime. I picked up some bright green fabric, some bright orange and bright yellow fabric from Dollar Tree. These fabrics work great for pillows. So I just unfolded this fabric, I gave it a good iron, and then I folded it back over, and then I ironed it down again. And then I'm gonna use a piece of chalk and I'm gonna draw out a half circle, and I am going to make a lime slice out of the lime green fabric. And then the orange, I will make an orange slice, and the yellow, I will make a lemon slice. But I'm just gonna show you the lime slice on camera because I did them all the same. And I just cut out that fabric along that chalk line, and then you can see I have two pieces of fabric. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to use some of this fusible hem tape that I have, and I'm going to go ahead and use that along the side here to hem or seam together my sides. I do not have a sewing machine, so I do not sew, but if you are a sewer, please go ahead and use the sewing machine for this. It will probably be easier. Or you could use some fabric glue, that would work too. But I had this on hand, so I figured I'd go ahead and use it, and it just fuses together with the heat of the iron. And I got that at Joann Fabrics a long time ago. Or actually, I think I got it on Amazon a long time ago. One or the other. It's really inexpensive, and it does work to hem everything together, but it is a little bit harder to get the seams when you flip everything inside out to do the seams on that side. So, but that's okay, I made it work, and I stuffed the pillow, and then to do my seam on this side that I left open to stuff it, I just put a little hot glue down to fold over that seam to give me a straight edge and make it just a little bit easier while I was putting that hem tape down. And then I just hemmed it along that edge. And if you sewed it, it would probably look a little bit nicer as well. But I still think this worked out, and limes and lemons and oranges aren't like perfect around the edges. So I think it looks cute. For the inside details of the lime, or the white part, you can kind of see the lighter white part of it. I'm going to use some white yarn, and I'm just going to attach the yarn with a little bit of hot glue, and I'm just going around the rounder part of the lime and then coming down around the longer seam on the front part of the lime. And then I'm doing 3 pieces diagonally up, so it looks like the middle of the lime. And then for the very center of the lime, where those 3 pieces of yarn meet, I am just spiraling that yarn around with a little bit of hot glue. And then you want to make sure that you protect these from the weather as much as you can. So I'm going to use some Never Wet. I just sprayed some on there. You can use whatever coating you would like. And then I just placed them outside on my patio chair, and I love how they turned out. They are so fun and so bright for the summertime, perfect to set outside on some patio chairs. For this DIY, I'm going to use one of these wood round circles from Dollar Tree. I just cut the hanger off, and I'm going to fill the holes with some spackle. And then I'm going to take some acrylic green paint from Dollar Tree, and I'm just using a round pouncer brush to brush that on, and then I used my hair dryer to speed up the drying process so that way I could do the other side. And I just did one coat of the green on this because I didn't mind seeing the wood grain through the paint. But if you didn't want to see the wood grain, you could definitely do a few coats. And then I'm going to take some white acrylic paint from Dollar Tree and use a smaller pouncer brush, and I just made a circle in the center, and then I started drawing little lines off of that circle, and then I dragged those lines a little bit further up towards the outer ring of the circle, and then I connected those lines all together, and then I just played with this and making the lines a little bit thicker, and then kind of blending the lines together with the circles and the top outer ring to make this look more like a lime. You can make this look like an orange, you can make it look like a lemon, a grapefruit, anything that was a circular piece of fruit, if that's what you were going for the theme, like I am in this video. So I'm going to make this into a table. So what I did was use a very, very small drill bit, and I drilled 3 holes into the top of this piece of wood, and then I have 3 screws. And for the legs of my table, I'm going to use 3 of the plungers from Dollar Tree. I just removed the plunger part, and then I'm going to take the flat part of the plunger where the plunger was screwed into, and I am just going to screw that piece of wood in there with one of my screws. And then I realized that you can see the screws, so I thought I could cover it up with some white paint, but it just didn't work out. So I don't know what happened, but I guess I didn't film it, or I lost the footage of what I did was I took another one of the wooden circles and I just painted it like the lime the first way, and I glued it on top of this. So for this table, you'll need 2 wood circles. Just paint one of them with the lime, and that'll be your finished top circle. And then you can paint the other one, just the bottom, so that way you'll have the green. And then for the legs, I went ahead and painted them green. You could paint them whatever color, you could stain them. I just thought I'd keep with the green theme and paint all of them green. And again, I only did 1 coat because I didn't mind the wood grain showing through, but you can do as many coats as you would like. And then you can see here in this next clip that you can see the top where you don't see the screws, and that's because I already covered it up with the second circle with the lime. And then I'm going to coat everything in this shellac just to protect it from the weather. You can use polyurethane, whatever you have on hand. And this is how it turned out. I think it's super cute. It's not super strong and sturdy to hold something heavy, but a couple drinks, it definitely worked. For this DIY, I picked up one of these planters from Dollar Tree, and to me, it looks kind of like a strawberry. So unfortunately, they don't have already painted red ones, so I am just gonna put a couple coats of red spray paint onto this planter, and then I'm gonna take some black acrylic paint from Dollar Tree and a little paintbrush, and I'm just going to put the little dots on the strawberry like it's the seeds. I kind of was heavy-handed with the seeds here. You probably want to spread them out just a little bit more, but you just basically just dab the brush on just to make little dots. They don't have to be perfect. It just gives the illusion that it is a strawberry. So I did that all around my pot, and you want to make sure that when you're doing it, your paint is thick, because this acrylic paint will show through and you'll have to do a second coat if you don't do it thick enough. And then I just took some of that shellac and spray painted the planter with that. And then I didn't have any real plants yet because it just started to get warm in my area. So for now, I took these ferns from Dollar Tree and I put it in the planter. I think it looks really cute like this. Drill a couple holes in the bottom and put some real plants so that it looks like the top of a strawberry. But I think it is adorable for summertime to put out on the patio. For this last DIY, I used 4 of these red placemats from Dollar Tree. I thought that they would make perfect watermelon placemats. So I took that same green and white acrylic paint from Dollar Tree that I used on the lime table, and I took that same pouncer brush, and then I just went in around the very edge of the placemats with the green, and then I came in and blended the white in a little bit towards the center just to make it look like a watermelon rind. And you want to make sure when you're painting with this acrylic paint that you go on pretty heavy, or you're going to have to come back and do a second coat. And then I went in with some black acrylic paint from Dollar Tree to make my seeds. I just painted those on. Again, I was heavy-handed with the paint, and also I was heavy-handed with adding these seeds. I probably didn't need as many seeds on this watermelon as I did, but that's up to you. You can make as many seeds as you want. And then that was it. When I was done with these, I just sprayed them with a clear coat of sealer so that way the paint wouldn't come off, and they look really cute out on my patio, on my table. They are perfect for some summertime fun. I love how they turned out. Thank you all so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you made it through the whole video, please leave me a sun emoji down below in the comments. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.